The Global Hawk has been flying for close to 15 years, and its development has been a twisting road filled with dead ends and wandering requirements. After over $10 billion spent and almost 50 airframes produced, I ventured to Edwards AFB to get a rare close-up look at what we actually paid for. The Global Hawk family just hit 100,000 hours of combat and operational support flying in its career, and the first Global Hawk ever built has just flown its 100th mission for NASA. Undoubtedly, these are serious milestones for a program that has struggled to mature and to secure its relevance within an Air Force that is plagued with often conflicting and wandering priorities. Just after I arrived at Edwards AFB, as we were making our way out onto the airfield in the brilliant morning light for some shots around the sprawling superbase, a Global Hawk came rocketing off the runway, rotating sharply and steeply, climbing to a couple hundred feet before making a hard, almost fighter-like break to the northeast. I was really struck by what I had just seen. These aircraft, with their massive glider-like wings, always seemed like underpowered and fragile albatrosses. Well, apparently that assumption was very wrong. Later today I would find out that the aircraft I saw make such a dramatic departure was on its way to be delivered to Bale AFB. Once they're home to the SR-71 Blackbird, and still home to the U-2 Dragon Lady and MiG-12 Liberty fleet, Bale AFB, the USAF's premier reconnaissance base, is also the operational Global Hawk fleet's primary nest. Although I have seen Global Hawks in person from a distance before at Edwards, and I have been up close and personal with NASA's commandeered early development models, the first impression I had when approaching the 7.5-ton aircraft in its secure hangar was just how large it truly is. Compared to Predator and Reaper, the Honda Civic and Accord of unmanned combat aircraft, the Block 30 Global Hawk, with its 130.9-foot wingspan, simply dwarfs them. It is an expansive and somewhat elegant machine, and because of its flowing lines, bulging forward and aft fuselage, and expansive laminar flow wings, it almost looks organic, as if it was grown, not built. The Global Hawk was originally designed by unmanned aircraft pioneer Teledyne Ryan Aeronautical, which was bought by Northrop Grumman in 1999. The aircraft was proposed to fulfill the Tier II Plus requirement put forward by the USAF in the early 1990s, a competition that it won. The Tier II Plus requirement called for a high-altitude, long-endurance, HAL, unmanned aircraft system that would have roughly the same capabilities as the U-2 Dragon Lady, but would be able to stay on station for a much longer period of time. In addition, this new unmanned system would be affordable, with the cost about equal to an F-16, and have a lower cost per flight hour than the U-2. It would also be able to carry an optical and infrared camera, a synthetic aperture radar, and an advanced electronic surveillance suite simultaneously. At least that was the plan. Some 16 years after its first flight in 1998, the RQ-4 Global Hawk is still finding that the U-2's shoes are hard ones to fill. Over the past decade, Global Hawk slowly matured as it also grew in size and weight. Today, the program sees the Block 30 and Block 40 aircraft attempting to finally wrestle away the U-2's mission once and for all. Older Block aircraft that proved ineffective as a full-on U-2 replacements have been converted to fly as battlefield communications gateways, EQ-4B, given to NASA to conduct flight testing and science missions, and are used by the U.S. Navy as testbeds for the MQ-4C Tridon program, an advanced maritime surveillance derivative of the Global Hawk, which is now flying in whole form. Other customers, such as NATO under the Alliance Ground Surveillance Cooperative Program, and potential buyers including Japan, South Korea, Australia, India, Norway and the UK have kept the Global Hawk at the cutting edge of the slowly blooming international heavy unmanned aircraft systems marketplace. Although the Global Hawk remains the most advanced known HAL unmanned aircraft system in the world, a more capable alternative for some of the Global Hawk's missions, and even more dangerous ones, is likely to already have flown in the form of a shadowy aircraft known informally as the RQ-180, which the USAF has all but fully admitted to exist. This large, stealthy, flying wing aircraft, presumed to be operating out of Area 51, is thought to have many of the Global Hawk's capabilities, but in a much more survivable stealthy flying wing package. This advanced configuration presumably allows the RQ-180 to penetrate enemy air defense networks, or at least observe in very close proximity to them, while remaining undetected. Although the Global Hawk's smooth surface shaping, Barrett engine, and heavy use of composite structures lowers its radar cross-section, it was never designed to be a truly low observable, enemy territory penetrating, reconnaissance aircraft. Even if such an advanced capability does indeed exist, it does not fully negate the relevance of the Global Hawk, as most of its missions take place at standoff distances from enemy air defense networks. Still, if the Global Hawk is the consolation prize to the USAF's more cutting-edge RQ-180, the program would no longer be a centerpiece technology for the USAF, and at an estimated $28K per flight hour, and a cost of up to $220 million per aircraft, depending on how you calculate it, with R&D rolled or just the plane itself without ground systems etc., the Global Hawk sounds strange being considered the low end of the USAF's high-altitude, long-endurance unmanned surveillance capability spectrum.
Все, пойду. Yes.
It was just a little bit. It's good now. See you just a little bit.
You want to know?
The fin? Put your foot on the fin. It was just a little bit. It's good now. Back to you just a little bit.